Hi there, I wanted to give you a little input on some of the ways that Renaissance is asking you about congruent triangles. So it's really important how the congruency is spelled. So if it says EFG is congruent to RST, then this part EF would have to match RS. So EF would have to match RS. So I'm going to mark that. It's important to kind of tell yourself where are the congruent parts before you try to make an equation. FG would have to match ST. So FG would match ST. And then the one that sometimes gets forgotten is first and last. So EG would have to match RT, first and last. First, last. First, last. So RT. So get the parts matched up in your head. It's all about knowing which things match with which things. Then we can make an equation. So I've got to find two things that match. This doesn't have any information. This side has information, but the side it matches with doesn't. And this side matches with this side, and they both have some info. So I can say that 4x plus 4 equals 6x. Then I can solve this equation for x, and I'll get that x equals 2. And then I have to pay attention to what they want me to find. If I'm supposed to find EF, that is right here, but it doesn't have any information. But what does it match with? It matches with this one, and there is some information. So I can plug my x in there. 7 times 2 would be 14, plus 3 would be 17. So this also equals 17, and there's your answer. On ones with angles, we want to keep in mind that the angles inside of a triangle add up to 180. Sides don't add up to anything, but the angles add up to 180. So if I had 3 angles here, I could add them up to 180, but I'm missing this one. So let's see, these have to match up. G is what I'm looking for. It would match with R. So let's see if I have R. I do have R. So since those two match, I can put this here because they're equal, they're congruent, according to these letters here. So now I can say that these 3 angles add up to 180. So 3x minus 4 plus 8x plus 2 plus 2x equal 180 because they make a triangle. Then I'll combine like terms, so I'll get 13x minus 2 equals 180. And then I'll get 13x equals 182. And then when I divide that, I get x equals 14. Now, question, angle Q is what I want. So let's see, what does angle Q match with? Because I don't have any information. Q would have to, since it's in the middle, it is congruent with F. So there's F. Q matches with F. So here's some information I could use. The 14 is going to have to plug in right there. So 3 times 14 is 42. Minus 4 is 38. And so Q must also be 38 because those angles are congruent. Don't forget little things like this. I need to add up interior angles of a triangle. So I need to know this little wedge right here. Well, this whole thing would be a circle, and this big one outside is 278. So I can find this little wedge by going 360 minus 278. And that'll tell me what that is on the inside. So 360 minus 278 is 82. So I can put that here, and now I can make an equation that says x plus 82 equals 180. By the same token, we need interior angles here, so I'm missing this one. These two don't make a circle, but they make a line, so I know that 180 minus 56 will give me that angle. And 180 minus 56 is 124. So I can put that in here, and now I know that 124 plus 35 plus x equals 180, and I can solve that. Let's see. other thing getting some people confused, if you don't feel like you have enough information to match up a triangle, keep your eye peeled for the word isosceles. If you have isosceles and they tell you where the base is, then you can assume that the two other sides and the base angles are congruent. So you might need that information. So if you have a base, then if you have the word isosceles, you can say that this one and this one are the same, these two sides, and also these two angles that are opposite those sides, this one and this one. So the reason that would be valuable is if I needed to know side BC, this one, and I only knew this one, I could, and I needed this to match to another triangle, I could say that this is also 2x plus 3 because they are isosceles. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. So mostly it's just about matching up parts that can match up, making an equation that makes sense, and then finding x and plugging it in for what they need you to find. Good luck!